So I'm sitting here today in a beautiful garden in England. It's the 12th of September of the year 2019, and exactly 80 years ago in Poland, a country far away from here, as Neville Chamberlain said, the war was raging and the German advance was successfully moving across Poland. The Polish armies were retreating in fairly good order in front of the Germans, and the Air Force units that were supporting them were retreating with them. The problem was that those units of fighter planes were not easily able to transport their air fuel with them. And although they were able to truck some of that fuel to meet the squadrons when they reached a point where they could land their planes, they were steadily having to mix the air fuel with automobile fuel. And this meant that the efficiency of the plane was greatly diminished. The engines didn't fire as well, and of course they flew even more slowly. So the role of the fighter planes became more one of reconnaissance than of combat in the air, because the planes were becoming so slow that they were highly vulnerable to attack in the air by German fighter aircraft, the highly efficient Me-109 and the Me-110s, Dorniers and Heinkels that were being used to attack Poland. The early successes of the Polish Air Force against the problem of being slower had occurred. They'd figured out how to attack the German aircraft, and a more or less one-for-one process of attrition was occurring in the fighting that was going on in the air. But the reduced efficiency of the planes meant that the situation was worsening, and there was a gradually increasing sense that the war might be lost. The army was doing badly on the ground, the planes were not performing. What was most significant was that the German armor was more numerous and superior to the Polish armor. And this meant that there was a reduction of the level of morale. This was increasing every single time the squadron took off to fly to another airfield, because it could no longer occupy the airfield it had been flying out of. And actually there are many accounts of the experiences of the airmen who went through this. A couple of very good ones are by a guy called Kroll and by another one called Gnis, who were all, in fact, going to depart Poland on the 17th of December, which is the point at which the Russians entered the war, crossed the frontier between Russia and Poland, and moved in to attack the Polish army from behind. And given the pressure the army was under, the additional pressure of being attacked from the rear meant that the situation became untenable, and the instruction was given on the 17th of September that the Air Force and the Army must attempt to retreat to outside the Polish border, and some dramatic events were to occur as that happened.